At the beginning of our school year in our high school ministries called 242, we started a series called Guts. And we started to ask ourselves in this series, what would it look like if we not only thought about what God wanted us to do, but if we did it? We pushed past those obstacles that kept us in our comfort zones and actually started to be radical for Christ. And so one of the dreams that we had turned into what we called 4K for Haiti, $4,000 for Haiti. And we were going to raise it in 2 months. And what we were going to use this money for was to build a well at the Salt and Light School there in Haiti. It was the only school out of 7 that didn't have a well, and so what that meant for them is that they did not have clean water, and thus they could not have a feeding program. We started to bring in this money, and we had students doing all kinds of things to raise the money. Some students were doing things like they printed up t-shirts that said "Do Well," and then they sold those t-shirts. We had other students that went around and collected pop cans, and we still had other students that did stuff called the Guts Challenges, where students gave them money to do things, kind of crazy things. Now, about a week out, we were still $2,000 short. We had raised $2,000 so far. So on that night, we come together, and in an act of worship, we all gave our money, and then we added it up, and I saw the total. Somebody handed me a card, the total, and I looked at it, and I couldn't believe the total that was there. It was $6,100 that we had raised through the whole time. And so we got on the internet, on the Skype interview with the Nichols, and we announced that total. This is the first time the students had heard it. We announced that total, and the students just went nuts. We all just went nuts, stood on our chairs, we're just praising God, and we just couldn't believe how much money that had come in. But what was even more incredible that God did was that when we told the Nichols the total, they told us that actually the expenses had come back, and they were just over $6,000 that was actually going to cost to build the well. And we were just amazed. We were like, oh, God knew. Definitely God knew.
It truly is amazing to stand back and see what God is doing since the earthquake has happened and where He's intervened. In the hospital that we work with quite extensively, before there was no feeding program for the patients and their families, and there was no kitchen to cook in. Since that time, we have built a kitchen, of which we feed 200 people a day from that kitchen, and we do that 6 days a week. As well, we have a volunteer class that has risen up out of the people around the surrounding areas that they go distribute the food, and they actually feed the people in the hospital. We collected about 4,000 pounds worth of supplies, shirts, medical supplies, and we distributed all that material, all the supplies out to hospitals, to churches, to other mission organizations that are working directly with Port-au-Prince. And the reason why we do it, why we are involved down there, is so we have a story to tell. So that when people ask us why we're doing this, we can say because of what Jesus Christ has done for us. And that's an amazing thing to be part of that story.